Hadīth 1. Narrated Urwa bin al-Musayyab, Alqamah bin Waqqas and Ubaydullah bin Abdullāh, about the story of Aisha, and their narrations were similar, attesting each other, when the liars said what they invented about Aisha, and the divine inspiration was delayed. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, sent for Ali and Usama to consult them in divorcing his wife, that is, Aisha. Usama said, "Keep your wife, as we know nothing about her except good." Barira said, "I cannot accuse her of any defect except that she is still a young girl who sleeps, neglecting her family's dough which the domestic goats come to eat, that is, she was too simple-minded to deceive her husband." Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Who can help me to take revenge over the man who has harmed me by defaming the reputation of my family? By Allah, I have not known about my family anything except good," and they mentioned, that is, accused, a man about whom I did not know anything except good. Hadīth 2. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and Ubay bin Ka'b al-Ansari went to the garden where Ibn Sayyad used to live. When Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, entered the garden, he, that is, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, started hiding himself behind the date palms, as he wanted to hear secretly the talk of Ibn Sayyad before the latter saw him. Ibn Sayyad, wrapped with a soft decorated sheet, was lying on his bed murmuring. Ibn Sayyad's mother saw the Prophet hiding behind the stems of the date palms. She addressed Ibn Sayyad saying, "O Saf, this is Muhammad." Hearing that Ibn Sayyad stopped murmuring, or got cautious, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if she had left him undisturbed, he would have revealed his reality. Hadīth 3. Narrated Aisha, the wife of Rifā al-Qurazi, came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, "I was Rifā's wife, but he divorced me and it was a final irrevocable divorce. Then I married Abdur-Rahman bin Az-Zubayr, but he is impotent." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked her, "Do you want to remarry Rifā?" "You cannot, unless you had a complete sexual relation with your present husband." Abu Bakr was sitting with Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and Khalid bin Sa'id bin al-As was at the door waiting to be admitted. He said, "O Abu Bakr, do you hear what this woman is revealing frankly before the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him?" Hadīth 4. Narrated Abdullāh bin Abu Mulaika from Uqbah bin al-Harith. Uqbah married the daughter of Abu Ihab bin Aziz, and then a woman came and said, "I suckled Uqbah and his wife." Uqbah said to her, "I do not know that you have suckled me, and you did not inform me." He then sent someone to the house of Abu Ihab to inquire about that, but they did not know that she had suckled their daughter. Then Uqbah went to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in Medina and asked him about it. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, "How can you keep your wife, after it has been said, that both of you were suckled by the same woman?" So, he divorced her and she was married to another husband. Hadīth 5. Narrated Umar bin al-Khattab, people were, sometimes, judged by the revealing of a divine inspiration during the lifetime of Allah's Apostle, but now there is no longer any more new revelation. Now we judge you by the deeds you practice publicly, so we will trust and favor the one who does good deeds in front of us, and we will not call him to account about what he is really doing in secret, for Allah will judge him for that, but we will not trust or believe the one who presents to us with an evil deed even if he claims that his intentions were good. Hadīth 6. Narrated Anas, a funeral procession passed in front of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and the people praised the deceased. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "It has been affirmed, paradise." Then another funeral procession passed by and the people talked badly of the deceased. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "It has been affirmed, hell." Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was asked, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, You said it has been affirmed for both? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the testimony of the people is accepted, for the believers are Allah's witnesses on the earth. Hadith 7. Narrated Abu al-Aswad, once I went to Medina where there was an outbreak of disease and the people were dying rapidly. I was sitting with Umar and a funeral procession passed by. The people praised the deceased. Umar said, it has been affirmed, paradise. Then another funeral procession passed by. The people praised the deceased. Umar said, it has been affirmed, paradise. Then another funeral procession passed by. The people praised the deceased. Umar said, it has been affirmed, paradise. Then a third funeral procession passed by and the people talked badly of the deceased. Umar said, it has been affirmed, hell. I asked Umar, O chief of the believers, what has been affirmed? He said, I have said what the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said. He said, Allah will admit into paradise any Muslim whose good character is attested by 4 persons. We asked the Prophet, if there were 3 witnesses only? He said, even 3. We asked, if there were 2 only? He said, even 2. But we did not ask him about 1 witness. Hadith 8. Narrated Aisha, Abdullāh asked the permission to visit me but I did not allow him. He said, do you veil yourself before me although I am your uncle? Aisha said, how is that? Abdullāh replied, you were suckled by my brother's wife with my brother's milk. I asked Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, about it, and he said, Abdullāh is right, so permit him to visit you. Hadith 9. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said about Hamza's daughter, I am not legally permitted to marry her, as foster relations are treated like blood relations, in marital affairs. She is the daughter of my foster brother. Hadith 10. Narrated Amrah bint Abdurrahman, that Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told her uncle that once, while the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was in her house, she heard a man asking Hafsa's permission to enter her house. Aisha said, I said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I think the man is Hafsa's foster uncle. Aisha added, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. There is a man asking the permission to enter your house. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, I think the man is Hafsa's foster uncle. Aisha said, if so and so were living, that is, her foster uncle, would he be allowed to visit me? Allah's Apostle said, yes, he would, as the foster relations are treated like blood relations, in marital affairs. Hadith 11. Narrated Aisha, once the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, came to me while a man was in my house. He said, O Aisha, who is this man? I replied, my foster brothers. He said, O Aisha, be sure about your foster brothers, as fostership is only valid if it takes place in the suckling period, before 2 years of age. Hadith 12. Narrated Urwah bin az-Zubayr, a woman committed theft in the Ghazwa of the conquest of Makkah, and she was taken to the Prophet, who ordered her hand to be cut off. Aisha said, her repentance was perfect and she was married, later, and used to come to me, after that, and I would present her needs to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Hadith 13. Narrated Zayd bin Khalid, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered that an unmarried man who committed illegal sexual intercourse be scourged 100 lashes and sent into exile for 1 year. Hadith 14. Narrated Nu'man bin Bashir, my mother asked my father to present me a gift from his property, and he gave it to me after some hesitation. My mother said that she would not be satisfied unless the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was made a witness to it. I being a young boy, my father held me by the hand and took me to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. He said to the Prophet, his mother, bint Rawaha, requested me to give this boy a gift. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Do you have other sons besides him? He said, Yes. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Do not make me a witness for injustice. Narrated Ash-Shu'abi that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I will not become a witness for injustice. Hadith 15. Narrated Zahdam bin Mudarrib, I heard Imran bin Husayn saying, The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, The best people are those living in my generation, then those coming after them, and then those coming after, the second generation. Imran said, I do not know whether the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned 2 or 3 generations after your present generation. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, There will be some people after you, who will be dishonest and will not be trustworthy and will give witness, evidences, without being asked to give witness, and will vow but will not fulfill their vows, and obesity will appear among them. Hadith 16. Narrated Abdullāh, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, The people of my generation are the best, then those who follow them, and then those who follow the latter. After that there will come some people whose witness will go ahead of their oaths, and their oaths will go ahead of their witness. Ibrahim, a sub-narrator, said, We used to be beaten for taking oaths by saying, I bear witness by the name of Allah or by the covenant of Allah. Hadith 17. Narrated Anas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was asked about the great sins. He said, They are, 1. To join others in worship with Allah. 2. To be undutiful to one's parents. 3. To kill a person, which Allah has forbidden to kill, that is, to commit the crime of murdering. 4. And to give a false witness. Hadith 18. Narrated Abu Bakr, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said thrice, Should I inform you about the greatest of the great sins? They said, Yes, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. He said, To join others in worship with Allah and to be undutiful to one's parents. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then sat up after he had been reclining, on a pillow, and said, And I warn you against giving a false witness, and he kept on saying that warning till we thought he would not stop. Hadith 19. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, heard a man, reciting Quran, in the mosque, and he said, May Allah bestow His mercy upon him. No doubt, he made me remember such and such verses of such and such surah which I dropped, from my memory. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, performed the tahajjud prayer in my house, and then he heard the voice of Abbad who was praying in the mosque, and said, O Aisha! Is this Abbad's voice? I said, Yes. He said, O Allah! Be merciful to Abbad. Hadith 20. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Bilal pronounces the adhan when it is still night, before dawn, so eat and drink till the next adhan is pronounced, or till you hear Ibn Maktum's adhan. Ibn Maktum was a blind man who would not pronounce the adhan till he was told that it was dawn. Hadith 21. Narrated Al-Miswar bin Makramah, some outer garments were received by the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and my father, Makramah, said to me, Let us go to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, so that he may give us something from the garments. So, my father stood at the door and spoke. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, recognized his voice and came out carrying a garment and telling Makramah the good qualities of that garment, adding, I have kept this for you, I have sent this for you. Hadith 22. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Isn't the witness of a woman equal to half of that of a man? The women said, Yes. He said, This is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind. Hadīth 23. Narrated Uqbah bin al-Harith, that he had married Yahya bint Abu Ihab. He said, a black slave lady came and said, I suckled you both. I then mentioned that to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, who turned his face aside. Uqbah further said, I went to the other side and told the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, about it. He said, how can you keep her as your wife, when the lady has said that she suckled both of you, that is, you and your wife? So, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered him to divorce her. Hadīth 24. Narrated Uqbah bin al-Harith, I married a woman, and later on a woman came and said, I suckled you both. So, I went to the Prophet, to ask him about it. He said, how can you keep her as a wife, when it has been said, that you were foster brother and sister? Leave, divorce, her. Hadīth 25. Narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, whenever Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, intended to go on a journey, he would draw lots amongst his wives and would take with him the one upon whom the lot fell. During a ghazwa of his, he drew lots amongst us and the lot fell upon me, and I proceeded with him after Allah had decreed the use of the veil by women. I was carried in a hawdah, on the camel, and dismounted while still in it. When Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was through with his ghazwa and returned home, and we approached the city of Medina, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered us to proceed at night. When the order of setting off was given, I walked till I was past the army to answer the call of nature. After finishing, I returned to the camp, to depart, with the others, and suddenly realized that my necklace over my chest was missing. So, I returned to look for it and was delayed because of that. The people who used to carry me on the camel, came to my hawdah and put it on the back of the camel, thinking that I was in it, as at that time, women were light in weight, and thin and lean, and did not use to eat much. So, those people did not feel the difference in the heaviness of the hawdah while lifting it, and they put it over the camel. At that time I was a young lady. They set the camel moving and proceeded on. I found my necklace after the army had gone, and came to their camp to find nobody. So, I went to the place where I used to stay, thinking that they would discover my absence and come back in my search. While in that state, I felt sleepy and slept. Safwan bin Mu'attal as-Sulami ad-Dakwani was behind the army and reached my abode in the morning. When he saw a sleeping person, he came to me, and he used to see me before veiling. So, I got up when I heard him saying, we are for Allah, and we will return to him. He made his camel kneel down. He got down from his camel, and put his leg on the front legs of the camel, and then I rode and sat over it. Safwan set out walking, leading the camel by the rope till we reached the army who had halted to take rest at midday. Then whoever was meant for destruction, fell into destruction. Some people accused me falsely, and the leader of the false accusers was Abdullāh bin Ubay bin Salul. After that, we returned to Medina, and I became ill for 1 month while the people were spreading the forged statements of the false accusers. I was feeling during my ailment as if I were not receiving the usual kindness from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, which I used to receive from him when I got sick. But he would come, greet and say, how is that, girl? I did not know anything of what was going on till I recovered from my ailment and went out with Mistah to the Manasi where we used to answer the call of nature, and we used not to go to answer the call of nature except from night to night, and that was before we had lavatories near to our houses. And this habit of ours was similar to the habit of the old Arabs in the open country, or away from houses. So, I and Mistah bint Ruhm went out walking. Mistah stumbled because of her long dress, and on that she said, let Mistah be ruined. I said, you are saying a bad word. Why are you abusing a man who took part in the Battle of Badr? She said, oh Hunta, you there, didn't you hear what they said? Then she told me the rumors of the false accusers. My sickness was aggravated, and when I returned home, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, came to me, and after greeting, he said, "How is that, girl?" I requested him to allow me to go to my parents. I wanted then to be sure of the news through them. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, allowed me, and I went to my parents and asked my mother, "What are the people talking about?" She said, "Oh my daughter, don't worry much about this matter. By Allah, never is there a charming woman loved by her husband who has other wives, but the women would forge false news about her." I said, "Glorified be Allah. Are the people really talking of this matter?" That night I kept on weeping and could not sleep till morning. In the morning, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, called Ali bin Abu Talib and Usama bin Zayd when he saw the divine inspiration delayed, to counsel them about divorcing his wife, that is, Aisha. Usama bin Zayd said what he knew of the good reputation of his wives and added, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, keep your wife, for, by Allah, we know nothing about her but good." Ali bin Abu Talib said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, Allah has not imposed restrictions on you, and there are many women other than she, yet you may ask the woman servant who will tell you the truth." On that, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, called Barira and said, "O Barira, did you ever see anything which roused your suspicions about her?" Barira said, "No, by Allah who has sent you with the truth, I have never seen in her anything faulty except that she is a girl of immature age, who sometimes sleeps and leaves the dough for the goats to eat." On that day, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, ascended the pulpit and requested that somebody support him in punishing Abdullāh bin Ubay bin Salul. Allah's Apostle said, "Who will support me to punish that person, Abdullāh bin Ubay bin Salul, who has hurt me by slandering the reputation of my family? By Allah I know nothing about my family but good, and they have accused a person about whom I know nothing except good, and he never entered my house except in my company." Sa'd bin Mu'adh got up and said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, by Allah, I will relieve you from him. If that man is from the tribe of the Aus, then we will chop his head off, and if he is from our brothers, the Khazraj, then order us, and we will fulfill your order." On that, Sa'd bin Ubadah, the chief of the Khazraj, and before this incident, he had been a pious man, got up, motivated by his zeal for his tribe, and said, "By Allah, you have told a lie, you cannot kill him, and you will never be able to kill him." On that, Usayd bin al-Hudayr got up and said, to Sa'd bin Ubadah, "By Allah, you are a liar. By Allah, we will kill him, and you are a hypocrite, defending the hypocrites." On this, the two tribes of Aus and Khazraj got excited and were about to fight each other, while Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was standing on the pulpit. He got down and quieted them till they became silent, and he kept quiet. On that day, I kept on weeping so much so that neither did my tears stop, nor could I sleep. In the morning, my parents were with me and I had wept for 2 nights and a day, till I thought my liver would burst from weeping. While they were sitting with me and I was weeping, an Ansari woman asked my permission to enter, and I allowed her to come in. She sat down and started weeping with me. While we were in this state, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, came and sat down, and he had never sat with me since the day they forged the accusation. No revelation regarding my case came to him for a month. He recited Tashahhud, that is, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and Muhammad is his apostle, and then said, "O Aisha, I have been informed such and such about you. If you are innocent, then Allah will soon reveal your innocence, and if you have committed a sin, then repent to Allah and ask Him to forgive you, for when a person confesses his sin and asks Allah for forgiveness, Allah accepts his repentance." When Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, finished his speech, my tears ceased completely and there remained not even a single drop of it. I requested my father to reply to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, on my behalf. My father said, "By Allah, I do not know what to say to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I said to my mother, talk to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, on my behalf. She said, by Allah, I do not know what to say to Allah's Apostle. I was a young girl and did not have much knowledge of the Quran. I said, I know, by Allah, that you have listened to what people are saying and that has been planted in your minds and you have taken it as a truth. Now, if I told you that I am innocent, and Allah knows that I am innocent, you would not believe me, and if I confess to you falsely that I am guilty, and Allah knows that I am innocent, you would believe me. By Allah, I don't compare my situation with you except to the situation of Joseph's father, that is, Jacob, who said, so, for me, patience is most fitting against that which you assert and it is Allah, alone, whose help can be sought. Then I turned to the other side of my bed hoping that Allah would prove my innocence. By Allah, I never thought that Allah would reveal divine inspiration in my case, as I considered myself too inferior to be talked of in the Holy Quran. I had hoped that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, might have a dream in which Allah would prove my innocence. By Allah, Allah's Apostle had not got up and nobody had left the house before the divine inspiration came to Allah's Apostle. So, there overtook him the same state which used to overtake him, which he used to have on being inspired divinely. He was sweating so much so that the drops of the sweat were dropping like pearls though it was a cold, wintry day. When that state of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was over, he was smiling and the first word he said, Aisha. Thank Allah, for Allah has declared your innocence. My mother told me to go to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I replied, by Allah I will not go to him and will not thank but Allah. So Allah revealed, Verily, they who spread the slander are a gang among you. Surah 24, Ayah 11. When Allah gave the declaration of my innocence, Abu Bakr, who used to provide for Mistah bin Uthatha, for he was his relative, said, by Allah, I will never provide Mistah with anything because of what he said about Aisha. But Allah later revealed, and let not those who are good and wealthy among you swear not to help their kinsmen, those in need and those who left their homes in Allah's cause. Let them forgive and overlook. Do you not wish that Allah should forgive you? Verily, Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. Surah 24, Ayah 22. After that, Abu Bakr said, yes. By Allah, I like that Allah should forgive me, and resumed helping Mistah whom he used to help before. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, also asked Zainab bint Jahash, that is, the Prophet's wife, about me saying, what do you know and what did you see? She replied, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I refrain to claim hearing or seeing what I have not heard or seen. By Allah I know nothing except goodness about Aisha. Aisha further added, Zainab was competing with me, in her beauty and the Prophet's love, yet Allah protected her, from being malicious, for she had piety. Hadīth 26. Narrated Abu Bakr, a man praised another man in front of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, Woe to you, you have cut off your companion's neck, you have cut off your companion's neck, repeating it several times, and then added, Whoever amongst you has to praise his brother should say, I think that he is so, and Allah knows exactly the truth, and I do not confirm anybody's good conduct before Allah, but I think him so, if he really knows what he says about him. Hadīth 27. Narrated Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, heard someone praising another and exaggerating in his praise. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, You have ruined or cut the man's back, by praising him so much. Hadīth 28. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, called me to present myself in front of him on the eve of the Battle of Uhud, while I was 14 years of age at that time, and he did not allow me to take part in that battle, but he called me in front of him on the eve of the Battle of the Trench when I was 15 years old, and he allowed me to join the battle. Nafi said, I went to Umar bin Abdul Aziz, who was caliph at that time, and related the above narration to him. He said, this age, 15, is the limit between childhood and manhood, and wrote to his governors to give salaries to those who reached the age of 15. Hadith 29. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, bath on Friday is compulsory for those who have attained the age of puberty. Hadith 30. Narrated Abdullāh, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if somebody takes a false oath in order to get the property of a Muslim, unjustly, by that oath, then Allah will be angry with him when he will meet him. Al-Ash'ath informed me, by Allah. This was said regarding me. There was a dispute about a piece of land between me and a man from the Jews who denied my right. I took him to the Prophet. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, asked me, do you have an evidence? I replied in the negative. He said to the Jew, take an oath. I said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. He will surely take an oath and take my property unjustly. So, Allah revealed, Verily. Those who purchase a little gain at the cost of Allah's covenant and their oaths. Surah 3, Ayah 77. Hadith 31. Narrated Ibn Abu Mulaika, Ibn Abbas wrote that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, gave his verdict on the basis of the defendant's oath. Hadith 32. Narrated Abu Wa'il, Abdullāh, bin Mas'ud, said, whoever takes a false oath in order to grab some property, unjustly, Allah will be angry with him when he will meet him. Allah confirmed that through his divine revelation, verily. Those who purchase a little gain at the cost of Allah's covenant and their oaths, they will have a painful punishment. Surah 3, Ayah 77. Al-Ash'ath bin Qais came to us and asked, what is Abu Abdurrahman, that is, Abdullah, telling you? We told him what he was narrating to us. He said, he was telling the truth, this divine verse was revealed in connection with me. There was a dispute between me and another man about something, and the case was filed before Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, who said, produce your two witnesses or else the defendant is to take an oath. I said, the defendant will surely take a false oath caring for nothing. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever takes a false oath in order to grab others' property, then Allah will be angry with him when he will meet him. Then Allah revealed its confirmation. Al-Ash'ath then recited the above divine verse. Hadith 33. Narrated Ibn Abbas, Hilal bin Umayyah accused his wife before the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, of committing illegal sexual intercourse with Sharik bin Sahma. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, produce a proof, or else you would get the legal punishment, by being lashed on your back. Hilal said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. If any one of us saw another man over his wife, would he go to search for a proof? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, went on saying, produce a proof or else you would get the legal punishment, by being lashed on your back. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then mentioned the narration of Leon, as in the Holy Book. Surah An-Nur, Ayah 24. Hadith 34. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there are three persons whom Allah will neither talk to, nor look at, nor purify from the sins, and they will have a painful punishment. They are, 1. A man who possessed superfluous water on a way and he withheld it from the travelers. 2. A man who gives a pledge of allegiance to a Muslim ruler and gives it only for worldly gains. If the ruler gives him what he wants, he remains obedient to it, otherwise he does not abide by it. And 3. A man bargains with another man after the Asr prayer and the latter takes a false oath in the name of Allah claiming that he has been offered so much for the thing, and the former believes him and buys it. Hadith 35. Narrated Ibn Mas'ud, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever takes a false oath in order to grab others' property, then Allah will be angry with him when he will meet him. Hadith 36. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked some people to take an oath, and they hurried for it. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered that lots should be drawn amongst them as to who would take an oath first. Hadith 37. Narrated Abdullāh bin Abu Awfa, a man displayed some goods in the market and took a false oath that he had been offered so much for them though he was not offered that amount. Then the following divine verse was revealed, Verily. Those who purchase a little gain at the cost of Allah's covenant and their oaths, will get painful punishment. Surah 3, Ayah 77. Ibn Abu Awfa added, such person as described above is a treacherous riba eater, that is, eater of usury. Hadith 38. Narrated Abu Wa'il from Abdullāh, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever takes a false oath in order to grab another man's, or his brother's, property, then Allah will be angry with him when he will meet him. Then Allah confirmed this by revealing the divine verse, Verily. Those who purchase a little gain at the cost of Allah's covenant and their oaths, will get painful punishment. Surah 3, Ayah 77. Al-Ash'ath met me and asked, what did Abdullāh tell you today? I said, so and so. He said, the verse was revealed regarding my case. Hadith 39. Narrated Talha bin Ubaidullah, a man came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, asking him about Islam. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, you have to offer 5 compulsory prayers in a day and a night, 24 hours. The man asked, is there any more compulsory prayers for me? Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, no, unless you like to offer nawafil, that is, optional prayers. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, then added, you have to observe fasts during the month of Ramadan. The man said, am I to fast any other days? Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, no, unless you wish to observe the optional fast voluntarily. Then Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, told him about the compulsory zakat. The man asked, do I have to give anything besides? Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, no, unless you wish to give in charity voluntarily. So, the man departed, saying, by Allah I will neither do more nor less than that. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if he has said the truth, he will be successful. Hadith 40. Narrated Abdullāh, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever has to take an oath should swear by Allah or remain silent, that is, he should not swear by other than Allah. Hadith 41. Narrated Salama, once Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, you people present your cases to me and some of you may be more eloquent and persuasive in presenting their argument. So, if I give someone's right to another, wrongly, because of the latter's tricky presentation of the case, I am really giving him a piece of fire, so he should not take it. Hadith 42. Narrated Abdullāh bin Abbas, Abu Sufyan told me that Heraclius said to him, when I inquired you what he, that is, Muhammad, ordered you, you replied that he ordered you to establish the prayer, to speak the truth, to be chaste, to keep promises and to pay back trusts. Then Heraclius added, these are really the qualities of a prophet. Hadith 43. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the signs of a hypocrite are 3, 1, whenever he speaks, he tells a lie, 2, whenever he is entrusted, he proves to be dishonest, 3, whenever he promises, he breaks his promise. Hadīth 44. Narrated Muhammad bin Ali, Jabir bin Abdullāh said, when the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, died, Abu Bakr received some property from Al-Alā bin al-Hadrami. Abu Bakr said to the people, whoever has a money claim on the Prophet, or was promised something by him, should come to us, so that we may pay him his right. Jabir added, I said, to Abu Bakr, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, promised me that he would give me this much, and this much, and this much, spreading his hands 3 times. Jabir added, Abu Bakr counted for me and handed me 500 gold pieces, and then 500, and then 500. Hadīth 45. Narrated Sa'id bin Jubayr, a Jew from Hira, asked me which one of the 2 periods Musa, that is, Prophet Moses, completed. I said, I don't know, but wait, till I see the most learned Arab and inquire him about it. So, I went to Ibn Abbas and asked him. He replied, Moses completed the longer and better period. Ibn Abbas added, no doubt, an apostle of Allah always does what he says. Hadīth 46. Narrated Ubaydullah bin Abdullah bin Utbah, Ibn Abbas said, O Muslims! How do you ask the people of the scriptures, though your book, that is, the Quran, which was revealed to his prophet is the most recent information from Allah and you recite it, the book that has not been distorted. Allah has revealed to you that the people of the scriptures have changed with their own hands what was revealed to them and they have said, as regards their changed scriptures, this is from Allah, in order to get some worldly benefit thereby. Ibn Abbas added, isn't the knowledge revealed to you sufficient to prevent you from asking them? By Allah, I have never seen any one of them asking, Muslims, about what has been revealed to you. Hadīth 47. Narrated An-Nu'man bin Bashir, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the example of the person abiding by Allah's orders and limits, or the one who abides by the limits and regulations prescribed by Allah, in comparison to the one who does wrong and violates Allah's limits and orders is like the example of people drawing lots for seats in a boat. Some of them got seats in the upper part while the others in the lower part. Those in the lower part have to pass by those in the upper one to get water, and that troubled the latter. One of them, that is, the people in the lower part, took an axe and started making a hole in the bottom of the boat. The people of the upper part came and asked him, saying, what is wrong with you? He replied, you have been troubled much by my coming up to you, and I have to get water. Now if they prevent him from doing that, they will save him and themselves, but if they leave him, to do what he wants, they will destroy him and themselves. Hadīth 48. Narrated al-Alā, that when the Ansar drew lots as to which of the emigrants should dwell with which of the Ansar, the name of Uthman bin Maz'un came out, to be in their lot. Al-Alā further said, Uthman stayed with us, and we nursed him when he got sick, but he died. We shrouded him in his clothes, and Allah's apostle came to our house and I said, addressing the dead Uthman, O Abu as-Sa'ib, may Allah be merciful to you. I testify that Allah has blessed you. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to me, how do you know that Allah has blessed him? I replied, I do not know, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. May my parents be sacrificed for you. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, as regards Uthman, by Allah he has died and I really wish him every good, yet, by Allah, although I am Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, I do not know what will be done to him. Al-Alā added, by Allah I shall never attest the piety of anybody after him. And what Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said made me sad. Al-Alā further said, once I slept and saw in a dream a flowing stream for Uthman. So I went to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and told him about it. He said, that is, the symbol of his deeds. Hadīth 49. Narrated Aisha, whenever Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, intended to go on a journey, he used to draw lots among his wives and would take with him the one on whom the lot fell. He also used to fix for every one of his wives a day and a night, but Saudah bin Zamah gave her day and night to Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, intending thereby to please Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Hadīth 50. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if the people knew what is the reward of making the call, for the prayer, and, of being in, the first row, in the prayer, and if they found no other way to get this privilege except by casting lots, they would certainly cast lots for it. If they knew the reward of the noon prayer, they would race for it, and if they knew the reward of the morning, that is, Fajr, and Isha prayers, they would present themselves for the prayer even if they had to crawl to reach there.